Chapter 7. There are 6 left that can fight. The ones that can't are moving towards the back and will provide what reinforcements they can. The enemy seems to be gathering in front. Melita placed her hand slightly on Cadmar's shoulder, noticing the tightly coiled tension. Slip out of the back and make a run for it. Cadmar reached out and squeezed her hand. I think they'll expect that. Besides, I already told you, I'll always be by your side. I do have some knowledge. He went deceptively limp when 2 soldiers came into the tent. You there! Step away from that soldier! One of the men advanced on Melita. This is a disgrace. It is against the code of knights to attack injured men. Get out of my medical tent! Melita glared at the men in question. The soldier laughed as they kept going. Our lord told us to leave no prisoners, but we'll take you. As they passed down the cots, Cadmar and another of the soldiers cut them down. Stay behind me. There will be more. Cadmar stepped in front of Melita. 2 of his men leaped toward the tent opening as they waited for more enemies, and the other 4 stood beside Cadmar. This one might work. Melita inspected the sword she had just taken off the dead soldier at her feet. Cadmar turned. What are you doing? Behind you! Melita raised her hand and a flash of light hit the soldier's face as he swung towards Cadmar. The soldier staggered back and Cadmar ran him through. Why do you have a sword? Cadmar turned his head slightly as he waited. I need a weapon to fight. I don't have enough energy left for combat magic. More soldiers burst in, and the 2 by the opening sprang into action. You'll get killed. Get behind the med trunks. Cadmar kicked a cot and sent it flying towards an enemy before engaging with one that had just reached him. What good would that do you? Melita swung her sword and connected. It's all coming back. Coming back? Cadmar bashed his shield against the helmet of the man in front of him, then slashed his legs out from under him, finishing him off with a blow to the chest. Melita stood beside Cadmar. My fight training. 2 soldiers rushed to her, and Cadmar took the blow from one on his raised shield as she ducked. Melita took the opportunity to dispatch one in the confusion, while Cadmar took care of the other. You had fight training? Cadmar whirled and narrowly avoided a slash before driving the other man back. We may not have warrior women in the armies, but some of us were taught the old ways. Melita kicked her attacker's legs out from under him. I'll take that. She took a dagger from his belt and hit him in the temple with her hilt. Won't make it more difficult to fight with that? Cadmar shielded her from another blow as she dispatched their attacker. I can use both. She looked around the tent when she realized everything was quiet. We work well together. Is everyone all right? Cadmar looked at his soldiers. Just minor injuries. No disrespect, Princess, but the men from Colmore don't seem to be very good fighters. The young soldier bowed. The women, however, are formidable. They didn't think they'd need their best. We better be ready for more. Melita stood and checked Cadmar's bandages. Oh, you have a cut. She turned to get more supplies, but he grabbed her hand. Are you hurt? If there are better soldiers coming, you should go. Your safety is paramount. I'm not hurt, and I can hold my own better against better soldiers. Come, let's get you cleaned up and into your armor. She took his hand and led him away from the rest of the group. I don't know how much time we have, so let's do the upper portion first. Melita felt his eyes on her as she helped him clean the cut on his arm. How do you know that you can handle more? She started working on the fasteners while still avoiding his gaze. My father was the one that made sure I had training. I guess to make up for the fact that I wouldn't be allowed to inherit a throne that was rightfully mine on either side. He said that I could at least honor my mother's Sastos lineage that way. Mother's second husband wasn't that way. Sounds like your father loved you. His voice was soft as she worked. His liking of the Sastro sculpture and people got him in a lot of trouble. When I was married off, I could only train in secret. What are you not telling me? He laid a hand on her shoulder and she looked at him. The real reason I shamed my late husband is because I challenged him to a duel and beat him. Legs next. He laughed as he took off the leather leggings he had been wearing. I wonder why they don't tell that story. It's a good one. Why did you challenge him? She helped him into the leg armor, so I would no longer have to share his house. He disgusted me after the bloom of marriage wore off, and I saw him for what he was. I had thought he'd let me go since I didn't have any children that could inherit his title, but he was strangely possessive. That sounds like a good solution. He smiled at her, then turned to the others. Men, your princess defeated Rill the Wretched in a duel. Melita hissed at Cadmar. Why would you tell them that? And why the Wretched? Because they should be as proud of you as I am. The answer to your second question is not something I care to repeat to a lady. Your Highness, I hear horses. In the distance. Get yourselves ready and in position. We need to keep the princess and the injured protected in case they aren't our reinforcements. He looked at Melita. I don't want to let you out of my sight. Stay next to me. Always. She swung her sword and dagger. Seems I still have the touch. Would you like to trade one of those for a shield? One of the soldiers offered his. No, thank you. Your shield is too heavy for me. Hold this. She handed her dagger to Cadmar and took her scissors out of the sheath inside the bodice, then started cutting away at her skirt. What are you doing? Cadmar sounded alarmed. I need to be able to move with ease. Long skirts will be a hindrance. She finished with her skirts, then started cutting away the sleeves. Cadmar left her side for a moment and came with a pile of leather. I can strap these on your legs. Men, help her with the arm braces. Aram, see if you can find something to protect her chest. He knelt in front of her, then looked up with a grin. Only your husband should see your pretty legs this close. Melita was nonplussed at this statement and hoped the light was dim enough to hide her blush. She placed her scissors back in their sheath and fixed her eyes on a tent pole to try to ignore the way her husband's hands felt on her legs. Her breath hitched and she turned her burning face towards the ceiling of the tent when she felt his fingers skimming under her skirt, close to the top of her thighs. There, that should do it. I hope you never have to fight again, but if you like, we can commission a set of armor for you. He stood and smiled at her. Be careful with your upper legs. They're not covered at all, since I could only use half the armor due to your stature. She looked down and realized the armor only covered her calves and knees. Not wanting to look up, she smoothed down what was left of her skirt, comforted by the familiar weight of the small knife she always hid in the ruffles. I think I found something that can help. Aram presented them with what he had found. Some pieces might be too big, but we will use what we can. Cadmar worked quickly and was able to cover her shoulders and some of her midsection and lower chest. I'm not happy about your neck and chest being exposed. Test it and tell me if we need to change anything. It's better than nothing. You're taking this rather well for someone who wanted me to stay out of it. She flexed and went through some of the motions. It's good. I still wish you'd hide, but if you won't, then my best option is to help you fight effectively. Maybe we can train together later. He gave her a look that she couldn't decipher. That would be good. She smiled as she warmed up. I'll do my best to shield you. Cadmar rolled his shoulders in preparation. Stay low. I don't want you hurt because you got distracted, so please don't worry so much about me. You are still very vulnerable in your piecemeal armor. I will be your shield, or I will toss you in a med trunk to keep you safe. His tone and stiff posture told her he was serious about this declaration. I can't argue with that. She moved to be next to him. With any luck, this is our people coming. She heard a man's voice shout and shifted into a fighting stance. It's not. That's Corford's captain. The men around her got ready and she looked at Cadmar. Why aren't you wearing your helmet? I need to be able to see where you are at all times. I'm counting on you to help me take them out quickly. Melita felt a warm glow spread through her at this sign of his trust in her. Soldiers came into the tent and froze at the sight before them. Cadmar's men took advantage of their surprise and cut a few down as more poured in. The battle reached them, and Melita got lower to the ground. As a soldier swung towards Cadmar, Melita timed her blow to help double the impact of her husband's strike. The moment the man hit the ground, she bashed the side of his helmet and he went still. She looked up at a sudden crash and saw Cadmar fending off a soldier who was swinging a mace towards him. Melita dashed forward and under Cadmar's shield to knock the soldier off balance while Cadmar finished him off. Duck! Cadmar's shout made her drop to one knee as he bore the brunt of a heavy blow from a new opponent. He swung and the man's body toppled over. They continued fighting in tandem, Cadmar getting their attention while she exploited her size to take advantage of their weaknesses. I think they've recognized you. Cadmar's words reached Melita over the din. Why do you say that? She brought up her dagger to block a blow and saw the hesitation in her opponent's eyes. With a sigh, she kicked his solar plexus and knocked him out as he fell. I see why. It will make it easier to protect you. Cadmar bashed his shield into a man with a poleaxe, and Melita disarmed him. But you'll be in more danger. I guess I should shield you. Melita smiled at the young soldier in front of her. You can run if you like. Thank you, Your Grace. He saluted, then turned and fled. The fight took on a surreal turn as new soldiers poured in and some of their former opponents decided to switch sides to protect them. Sweat dripped over Melita's face and she wiped her brow. As far as she could tell, the fight was finally turning in their favor and was almost over. Where are you? Melita heard Cadmar's raised voice and she looked around for him. She spotted him coming towards her, fending off those who were trying to attack him. Their attack seemed to be aimed at incapacitating him, and she realized they knew who he was as well. Here. Melita kicked dirt at the man in front of her, then swept his legs out from under him. Stay down. Melita! Cadmar called out to her, then stopped dead, just as she felt steel at her neck. Quiet! Corford's voice rang out, and almost everyone stopped. Cadmar raised his shamshir and pointed. Let her go. Men, bind the prince. I need him alive, but not necessarily whole. Corford's hot breath rolled over Melita's head. Swords were aimed towards everyone else, and it was hard to tell who was enemy and foe. What are you waiting for? I've rescued the Duchess. Corford lowered the knife. She's safe now. I don't need rescuing. The person who is most likely to harm me is you. Melita spit out the words as she looked at the sea of faces in front of her. Cadmar seemed to be surrounded by the enemy, and she almost stopped breathing when one shifted so the point of his sword was aimed at Cadmar's throat. Let her go now, and I'll let you live. Cadmar's narrowed eyes were fixed on Corford. You're in no position to bargain. Corford lowered his mouth to Melita's ear. I'm glad you didn't let that animal touch you. However, I'm still going to make you suffer for taking my prize away. What are you talking about? Melita was going over her options as she assessed the situation. Brynn, you took her and kept her locked away. I know you also lied about your children. Maybe after you bear my heir, I'll marry the youngest, after a suitable mourning period for you. Corford licked her neck. Brynn was 10, and Jade is 16. You have no right. Her hands brushed the ruffles of her skirt as she tried to keep her composure. I have every right. Better young flesh than old, though I will enjoy putting you through your paces. Your pretty prince will also suffer. I won't need the ransom after I get your holdings. Melita shook, then called out in a voice guaranteed to reach the whole tent. If I submit to you, will you give your word that you will leave Prince Cadmar and any current member of his household alone? Just ride away with me and stop this war. Leave them all alone, and I will declare before the country that you are the rightful heir instead of my cousin. Melita, no! Why would you do something like this? Cadmar's look was a complex mix of emotions. Because of what I have been trying to tell you in dozens, no hundreds of ways each and every day. What I've said with every stitch I have sewn, every note I've taken, every time I've baked bread or brewed your tea. Can you understand that? She gave him a smile as she gave voice to what was in her heart. I do, and I hope you understand that I cannot give up on you because I have been saying the same thing. Everything I do is colored by that. There are 100 ways to say it, but I hope to say it in thousands of ways. Cadmar's look was at once tender and fierce. Then you will understand why I do this. Remember, anyone that is an official part of your household as of this moment is yours to protect. Tell them what I have been saying. Melita's eyes filled with tears even as a calm descended over her. She turned and looked at Corford. Give me your word in front of these people that neither you nor any member of your house will act against the house of Prince Cadmar of Iostrad, and I will kneel before you and agree to ensure the throne. Corford gave her an amused look. It will be nice to see that once proud Duchess kneel. You have my word. I will not harm the young prince or his household. Melita knelt slowly. No! Cadmar's shout made her flinch for a moment. She looked up at Corford and smiled. With a quick movement born of years of training, she lunged forward and drove her knife into the gap in the groin section of Corford's armor. She put all her weight behind it as she twisted, hoping to at least do enough damage with the small knife to buy Cadmar time. Corford's eyes widened as blood gushed out. He swung at her, and she ducked but felt pain like fire before she could get out of the way completely. She fell and saw her own blood spilling on the floor. Melita! Your Grace! Viscount Corford must pay! She looked at her husband and smiled at how well her division had worked, as well as how loyal the soldiers had remained to her family. Her last thought was of happiness that her loved ones were safe, as everything went black.